reduces armor, so it will be synergized with some of your abilities, uh, which deal physical damage. Queen of Pain, you have magic reducing abilities as well, so her burst abilities will do a lot more damage. Same goes for Doom. Balanar is just awesome, so he doesn't need to benefit from anyone. You do benefit from their silences a lot, simply because the enemy do have a number of disables or a way of actually escaping you. Puck can phase shift and use his nuke to escape. Magina has blink, Lion can drain your mana, and of course burst you down. Crystal Maiden has good like some good disables for like slow and stuff like that. Also, since you have like a lot of slows and stuff, I mean silences and stuff, you can stop her ultimate, which is always good. Negative armor, going to be quite good also versus Visage. His third passive gives him quite a lot of armor, which makes him very tanky in battles. If you actually counter that tankiness, he's going to be taken down quite fast, meaning that he won't be able to cast a lot of what was the name? Oh, he won't be able to cast his burst damage a lot. Okay. Um, are you going to write something? Okay. Uh, no problem. Okay. So on paper, overall, it looks like your team has a very good advantage versus the enemy team. But now let's look at the laning stages and some situations in battle. How are you actually going to lane? For sure, you cannot start ganking at level 1. Sure, you can go for a small gank. Vengeful Spirit can, yes, with this team you can do a lot of good burst damage early on. Vengeful Spirit's stun, Balinar's void ability and stuff. Okay, it is possible for an early game smoke. Hmm. But now let's actually talk about the lanes. I'm actually talking about strategies. Sorry. Uh, okay, lanes. Queen of Pain most likely going to be the solo lane. Vengeful Spirit, depending on how she's going to be played, I very doubt that she'll be played as a semi carry simply because you have a Balnor and a Doom and a Queen of Pain on your team. Usually one of those three take the semi carry priority. Um, your hero actually may be the other solo lane, even though he doesn't have a very reliable escape mechanism. He may actually be quite good simply because Burn can do a lot of damage over time and scare off the enemy. Still, you will need quite a lot of mana to actually sustain that, and you do not have any reliable escape mechanism to help you run away if you are going to be ganked. Also, if you are versus a lion and an anti-mage, your mana is going to be depleted very fast. Um, There is there is a chance of either Balnor or Doom actually being the next uh, solo lane, or actually there's not. Actually, there may be two dual lanes in one solo lane. It's not necessary to be two solo lanes. Hmm. Who would you be best with? Well, you are going to aim at getting some items, even though it's going to be quite good for you if you manage to get some early game kills. Uh, you're probably not going to be all that amazing early on simply because you will not have the mana to sustain it. course, not judging by the current numbers, uh, you're probably not going to be able to do enough damage or slow in time in order to catch up to the enemy for an early game gank. Not saying it's going to be impossible or completely useless, of course, but it's not going to be as effective as some other lane compositions. So most likely you're going to be with the Doombringer and kind of play him as a babysitter most likely. So Doom can get some big items quite fast. Um, so Vengeful Spirit and Banner are most likely going to be the other dual lane. Okay, so now let's say that you're Sentinel. Which would be the best for you? The top or the bottom lane? Huh. The safe lane or the... Hmm. Now, the bottom lane is the safe lane simply because you're closer to your tower. Top lane is going to be a bit harder. Since you're going to be playing a bit defensively and probably like a babysitter, bottom lane is probably going to be the best place for you. Um, Still, that doesn't mean that anti-mage or lion will necessarily be at top lane, so there is a chance of seeing either one of them against you. Puck will most likely be, of course, the solo lane, um, Visage, and either Lion or Crystal Maiden will be the top lane, or a solo Visage is quite actually possible, with a tri lane of Anti-Mage, Lion, and Crystal Maiden. Uh, so it is actually possible, now when I think about it, of Visage going as a solo bottom lane for the enemy, and the enemy actually going as a tri-lane top, simply because Lion and Crystal Maiden can quite well make sure that anti-mage survives. And if it ends up like that, you may actually with Doom have some good ganking potential. Uh, Even though Visage can easily escape with his, what was the ability? Um, Grave Chill. I'm not sure that he will have a guaranteed escape. Not until he levels up his ultimate. So, if you're going to be versus a solo Visage, you're going to have a rather easy lane, since I already mentioned you're going to be playing a bit passively, just for the time being, so Visage won't be able to won't be able to do much like harass you back, because he won't be able to use his soul assumption. Is that called? Yes, soul assumption. Okay. Hmm. Early game usefulness. What can you do? What can you do? Damage over time. Slow. If Doom actually devours a centaur, he will have a disable. With freeze, um, you can play some mind games and pretend to only harass the enemy with freeze, but keep in mind that even at level 1, 3 stacks of freeze are 45% slow, and that's quite a lot. So actually netting a successful gank with Doom is actually quite possible now when I think about it. Hmm. Wow, the review has already been like 1 hour. Yes, I also think that way. Uh, it will require around 240 mana at level 1. I mean, at level 1 of the ability, which is quite pricey for the effect and damage that it will do. Still, hmm, leveling it up more will slightly increase the damage, give only 9% on top of the slow. Huh. Here, yeah, here again comes one of the problems with the abilities. You're afraid of actually scaling them. You're not sure what you exactly want to scale. The mana cost is so high that you can't actually make a lot of combos simply because you don't have the mana for that. The base abilities really need to be toned down, uh, and I actually won't mind if they have a base 1.5 second cooldown, even at level 1. I'm dead serious right here. As long as the effects aren't all that strong and your ultimate experiment has a ridiculously low cooldown, and the scaling of like the passive themselves aren't all too strong. I seriously have nothing against um, I seriously have nothing against this hero being given more spell. I mean, more spam heavy at early levels. Because, like I said, 240 mana at level 1 of the ability just to get its full effect. It's you're going to you're not going to be doing all that much. Not going to properly harass. Not properly going to be useful as in a gank. But at the same time, with the scaling, it deals so much more damage. I don't know. It needs some serious reworking. Uh, Probably make it have a base mana at all levels. Do not increase it. Cooldown, like I said, decrease it to 1.5. And let's actually rescale the abilities real quick. Burn. Make it reduce only armor. Nothing more. Freeze. Um, I'm not sure about the attack speed slow. Seems a bit too much. I guess only some burst damage, maybe. With movement speed slow will be okay. Zap. Burns mana and mana degen. That's all. With not very high numbers. And you are able to get your ultimate at level 2. Now you pretty much can actually create combos right from the start at level 2 with your first ability. Uh, First ability, like let's say it reduces only, okay, as you've given 1 armor, even though that's going to be way too slow, way too little, you activate your first skill, activate the ultimate, and immediately deal thermonuclear immediately at level 2. Mm, I think that's the best way to balance this hero out. Uh, make the base abilities quite weak and make the passives so that they can be spammed a lot more and just decrease their volume so they're not all that powerful. And yeah.